Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with yet another kind of preview of Showdown in the Badlands video where we're going to talk about what were they thinking? These cards are terrible. The worst cards from Showdown in the Badlands, at least what I think, and maybe they'll end up being busted. I will be wrong. I'll give my picks for every class, including neutrals. And again, reminder, we have our giveaway going on for the 4 rewards tracks out of my pocket to enter that giveaway for Showdown in the Badlands. What you have to do is like and comment on the video in description below. Be subscribed to the channel, and if we hit 76,000 subscribers by expansion launch, I will add another rewards track. So hit that sub button, make me go baroque. So starting off with Deathlight, what is the worst card by a mile, more than any other card out there from this set? I gotta say, there's nothing too atrocious, nothing too bad out of all these cards. So I'm gonna go with the pile of bones. Like I play this in an excavate deck and it just felt like it wasn't doing enough. It gets resummoned every time you excavate, but it's just a 2-1. I was never struggling that much to get corpses in like maybe a really strict rainbow deck where it's somehow gonna get you those corpses. It just felt super underwhelming. Like I never had time to even really play it. When I did, I got a 2-1 over and over, but it might be good enough to see play. I think all the Deathlight cards have a realistic play to see play in either Rainbow or like Double Unholy and Frost. Maybe Farmhand's the worst, but it's insane in Arena, so I don't want to rate it that low. They're all good cards. I actually don't think they got anything too atrocious. Demon Hunter, on the other hand, what about them? Did they get anything too bad? Actually, I'm gonna go with Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes is a really cool card. The animation on it's really sweet. Literally see the dice rolling on the board. But even like a Highlander deck, discovering like 5, 6s, 4s, there's so many bad options because you get neutrals in the mix. You basically want to low roll. You want to hit your 1s and 2s to get those cheap spells. I just don't think it's consistent enough. The body isn't all that great. And there are lots of other great ways to get value while you're playing like a more Highlander Reno style Demon Hunter that I don't think Snake Eyes will make the cut in that deck, and I really don't know where else it's gonna fit in because it's not going into that like cheap Naga deck. I just don't see it, so I gotta go with Snake Eyes, although it is one of my favorite cards from Demon Hunter. I think it's super cool. I will try and make it work. I'm just not sold on it whatsoever. Druid, again, like no bad cards. There's not a bad card here from Druid. So the one I gotta pick as like the worst card, it's not even this, because every time somebody plays this, they always get Nerubian Egg, and it's broken with this, or like Loot Order's good. It's actually not that bad. Let's go with Rehydrate. I just don't think you're hard running this card. 2 mana, Nature Spell, restore 7 health, quick draw, refresh 2 mana crystals. Just doesn't feel like worth the deck slot. Like it's only quite solid when you draw it, and if you draw it early, it's just like whatever. It's just 2 mana, heal 7. Unless you're really dying for some healing in Druid, I don't think it makes a cut. Even like a Highlander situation where you run 1 copy, I don't think it's worth it. So for me, I will go with Rehydrate. I don't respect hydration, I guess. You know, even though she all stay hydrated. Please don't listen to the bad dad. For Hunter, the cards out there, again, they got some really good stuff. I'm gonna go with the worst card of Spur Fang. This card you really have to work for to make it feel like it gets much of a payoff. Getting the attack up on this to get like bigger beasts. And you can't really predict what those beasts will be. And it's really awkward and slow and just kind of clunky in a class that doesn't want to be like that. Even in like a slower Reno style strategy, I just don't see Spurfang making the cut. So unfortunately, I will put him as my worst card. For Mage, can I just say like all of them? No, it's Azurite Vein. The 3 mana secret. This card just seems completely terrible. The only time you're going to see play is when it's randomly generated, whether it's the Excavate card that casts like random secrets, or Rogue gets it off, you know, a random secret or whatever. I don't think anybody is putting in this in their deck intentionally with the intention of winning games. As when the enemy plays a card on the turn that it entered their hand, get a copy that costs 0. And it's just the 1 card. So if they top deck a card and play it and this is up, I guess you get that card. But, you know, they generate a card, they can just throw something away. It's super clunky, super unreliable. But yeah, in theory, maybe I get a 0 mana Sargeras. It could happen. But it's probably not going to happen. And yeah, Mage got some pretty garbage cards, but I just think the secret by far is the worst of them. For Paladin, believe it or not, I know like Trump said this is like the worst card in the set, Showdown. I don't think it's that bad. Particular, like you have like Sea Giant and ways to kind of abuse that. I gotta go with the Badlands Bandits. The Badlands Bandits is my pick. It's a really cool card in the fact that like you get 8 different tokens. They're all unique, like dwarves, or gnomes or whatever. Really cool stuff. Or is it kobolds? They're kobolds, right? Again, I'm trying to learn the Warcraft stuff here, but it's a card you don't really want to play in curve because you're gonna fill your hand in overdraw. They're just 3/2s. They're relatively easy to deal on board, and literally only the rush one is proactive the turn you play it, as you're guaranteed to get exactly one of each type, right? There's one specific one for each bonus effect. You can't even get like all rushers, all divine shields. It's set that way, so I just feel like it's not good enough, and I don't think the bandits are going to be running wild on the ladder. For priest, this one's really easy, despite the fact there are quite a few bad priest cards. It's Posse Possession. This card is just utterly useless. 4 mana shadow spell, summon a 4/4 copy of a random minion in your opponent's hand. It doesn't even work with Raden because you're not playing it, you're just summoning it, and it could just be anything, some vanilla garbage minion. Maybe you get lucky and hit a Titan or a Colossal, but that's really unlikely, and not likely enough that I want to play a 4 mana 4/4 in my deck. That really doesn't synergize with pretty much anything any priest deck is doing right now. This card is really, really bad. Like, it should be like 3 mana. I don't know. It just seems terrible. So yeah, that's an easy pick for me for priest. For rogue, it's got to be the shell game. 3 mana spell, get a random epic, rare, and common card from other classes. Rogue does not struggle generating cards, drawing cards, doing it for dirt cheap. Shell game is just 3 mana, get some junk, right? It'll be fun for those Thief Rogue players. You can play this in your test deck and not be like, it's not a competitive card. It's more of a fun card for those Burgle Rogue enthusiasts. But in terms of just rating it as like a good or bad card, yeah, I don't care about an epic, rare, and common. I just don't. It's not gonna be reliable enough. And 3 mana get 3 cards in 2023, sadly, is just not good enough unless it's like your own cards. And even then, today's game, that's just like average. So yeah, for the most part, I gotta put it there. For Shaman again really didn't get anything too bad at all. Like, what am I even rating poorly out of this? It's just, they're all good cards, they're all solid. I guess Amphibious Elixir, 2 mana spell, restore 5 health, discovering a spell. It's good to see play. These cards I think will all see play. They're all good. Like especially the Highlander strategies, I'm gonna probably want maybe Walking Mountain when you put on that list, is just no great way of cheating it out. But 9 mana heal for 16 possibly, it's pretty good. So I think it's a toss-up between Walking Mountain and maybe Amphibious Elixir, but again, they're both pretty darn solid cards. So Shaman has a lot of cool stuff to do coming up. For Warlock, the slimes, I know I revealed it at all, but I'm not sold on them. I'm really not sold on them being all that great. So I'll go with Disposal Assistant. Although putting them in the bottom of your deck is pretty nice for your fracking and for your 4-drop. It's just not a strategy I feel like it's fast enough. Plus, you're just going to be playing Excavate until that stuff gets nerfed and Azurite Snake murders people. You just rather do that because it's going to kill people. So I'll go with this card, but although I don't think these cards are particularly terrible, this one's a bit maybe on the slower end, but overall, I don't think Slime Warlock's going to work. I do think Excavate Warlock will be really solid. Warrior, oh boy, which one is it? Is it the 3 mana gain 6 armor Excavate? No, because that one you can actually play. Blast Charge is 3 mana execute. In a meta or in an age where 1 mana execute sees no play, you do Excavate. That's nice, but it's so slow and your payoffs are really slow. Your reward is good, but when it comes down later, it's not incredible. And when one of your support cards is also terrible in Slagmaw, which is incredibly slow unless you have it exactly on a curve with a bunch of Excavates, and still your opponent will be ready to deal with it. It's either Slagmaw or the Execute card. You pick what you think is the worst of the two. But overall, Excavate Warrior is looking rather sad. And for neutrals, I mean, I know the meme is solid, but it's Cactus Ranger. It's 2-mana 5/1 poisonous. And like, this card would be bad in 2014, but the meme is god tier. It's great. So I'm fine with it. What doesn't kill you makes you deader. We'll go with that. But the worst neutral, I'm sorry, it's gotta be the Cactus Ranger. So let me know what you think will be the worst of the worst cards from Showdown in the Badlands in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.